All right. So, Bhakti Yoga, 12th chapter, you're looking at 13 onwards. Adveshta sarvabhutana maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankarah samadukhas sukah kshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchayah mayyarpita manobuddhi yo madbhaktas same priyah. See, the next few verses you will notice Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna about what is the kind of person I like, the kind of person who is equipoised. In multiple ways, he is going to essentially say the same thing. Somebody who is equipoised, who is not disturbed, who remains calm, who remains balanced, who is not either excited or depressed, who doesn't jump at things that are wonderful, things that are happening to him, or go down for things that are not very suitable to him. So the one who does not get beaten by the dualities or the extremities in life, such a person is somebody who is very dear to me. This is what he is going to repeat in the next 8 shlokas. So he starts off to say, Adveshta sarvabhutana maitraha karuna evacha. So the one he starts to say, if you remember the last few verses, the last week we saw, was essentially how Krishna is telling Arjuna how he should do abhyasa, or how should he think about him, how should he meditate upon him. So he said, continuously think about me. If not possible, at least do it for a period of time during the day as a abhyasa, as a practice. If that's not possible, at least do some kainkariam, worship and all that. Even if that is not possible, when you're doing any work, offer it to me as a karma yoga. So he was giving him easier and easier methods to remember the Lord or remember the divine, so that over a period of time the person inculcates the attitude of dissolving the kartrutva bhava. The kartrutva bhava has to go away, which means I am the one doing, I am this, I am that, I am going through this, I have a problem, I am having this issue, I am a great one, I am the one who has achieved this. Without me, this couldn't have happened. I don't get the recognition. I don't get this. I thing is the kartrutva bhava. Aham karta iti bhavaha. So this bhava has to be dissolved, he is saying. And how does it dissolve? Slowly, by putting your mind, moving that from aham to saha. From aham to saha. So there's a technique called soham. Those who know of this breathing technique called soham is saha aham. I am that. That is me. So this aham saha, from aham you need to move it to saha, which means my attention has to go from this to that. And this is what he is telling. He is giving simpler and simpler techniques to say that if you are not able to be that kind of a yogi, Uchakoti yogi, at least be somebody who is able to think about me or offer the actions, the fruits of the actions that you are doing. This is where he concluded the last few verses, and he continues to say, what is the type of person I love to associate myself with, Krishna is saying, or what kind of person finds likeness, or what kind of person I like. When Bhagavan is saying what kind of person I like, again, we have seen this in the previous chapters also. Bhagavan himself is saying, I'm Sarva Bhutanam, Aham, he is the Chaitanya, Sarva Bhutanam, Aham Chaitanya. So he is the consciousness in all entities. So then how can he say specifically, these are the specific people I like? So this is a way of Bhagavan telling Arjuna that he is motivating him to say that if you want to receive my grace, and what we have told about grace, grace is not that Bhagavan is giving extra grace to somebody. If you want to receive my grace, which means you have to make yourself receptive to my grace. If you want to make yourself receptive to my grace, then do these things, be in this way. If you're in this way, then you will automatically see that suddenly it will feel like, oh, Bhagavan is doing beautiful things to me. I'm reading, I just finished reading this book on Jnaneshwar, Sant Jnaneshwar. It's a beautiful biography of his life. Nivrittinatha is the elder brother. Sant Jnaneshwar is the younger brother. And then there is Muktabai, and then Sopanadev. The four siblings. So in the book, at one place, and this is the time when there is a lot of invasions and the time of Aladdin Khilji, essentially, who was considered to be one of the most um, insensitive of rulers, who destroyed a lot of temples and did a lot of massacre, defecation of temples and worship places, and all of that used to happen at that time. So then people are suffering and going through all of this, and they come and then there is Nivritti Natha he is also a realized person. The elder brother is also a realized person. In fact, Jnaneshwar takes his elder brother Nivritti Natha as his guru. So he's sitting in a goshti or in a satsang or whatever, and then people are asking Nivrittanandanatha that where is God's justice? Where is God's love? What is God doing when you're saying that there are so many people dying and suffering in the hands of such evil men? And what kind of people are suffering and dying? People who are pious, people who are worshipful, who are devotees, who are bhaktas, who are sadhakas, who are yogis. Such people are getting, such people are suffering at the hands of such evil men, evil rulers. So where is the justice here? Where is Bhagavan's, where is Bhagavan taking care of all of us? And see, when you ask such questions to a realized person, the answer will come from a very different place. And he says it is a point of view. Nivrittinatha says it's a point of view. It is a perspective. You are seeing that everything is happening, so much violence and all of that. But in the grand scheme of things, when you look at it, if you look at yugas and chatur yugas and kalpas and all of that, where is this? What is this? It's irrelevant and insignificant. In the grand scheme of things, these things are insignificant. It does not hold any significance in the bigger plan. That is one point of view. The other point of view is, as we have always told, that Brahman or Supreme Consciousness doesn't care what is happening, because it is as though it is an appearance. We are stuck in that dream. We are in that dream. We are in that appearance, and hence it appears to be painful. We are dreaming and we are suffering and we are worried, and all of that is happening. But in truth, in the final analysis, nothing really is happening. Poof. See, when you wake up from a dream, everything goes off. So when you talk to a realized person and he looks at it, he's saying that there's nothing. Obviously, you will have to protect yourself, and if somebody is coming to kill him, he's not going to sit there. He's going to get up and run, or he's trying to he's going to make sure he's going to. Even this realized person is trying to get up and try to hide or try to evade such an attack, because this transactional reality is still there. But if you ask questions like, why did God do this? What is God's idea? God does not care. What does God think about? Where is God? And all that question, then the answer will come from a very different perspective. I'll say one point of view is, in the grand scheme of things, nothing, it doesn't really, it's insignificant. We walk and we kill 1,000,000 ants, 1,000 ants we walk and we kill. Do we worry? Do we care? So many creatures we kill on a daily basis. We don't worry and we don't think about it so much. Why is suddenly human being a very important creature. Something has to happen. Natural calamities happen, or human beings come and destroy you, or some animals come and eat you up, or you die of some disease. Whatever happens, just something happens, right? Why do you give so much importance? That is one point of view. The other is, as I said, the transcendental consciousness is, it doesn't care. Nothing really nothing's happening from its point of view. So it doesn't care about any of this. Then further the questioner goes and asks, but is there, how do we find joy and justice and understand all of this? Then further Nivritinatha says, as long as in the hearts of men there is joy for God, as long as somebody is able to sit down and meditate and go into dhyana, as long as there are four people able to sit and do sankirtana and be in that bliss, as long as somebody is able to do japa and find that joy within, that as long as that is there, Bhagavan is doing his job well. Don't worry. Because this guy is asking, looks like Bhagavan is not doing his job. God is not doing his job. So he says, as long as these things are there, when there are people you find who are joyful, despite whatever is happening outside, despite the conditions and whatever the situations are around you, there are people who are able to find that joy within. They're able to find that bliss and dive into that Hari Sarasi, the lake of Hari. Those who are able to do that, as long as that is there, then Bhagavan is doing his job well, he says. Right? So it's a perspective, it is a point of view. So here Bhagavan is saying the same thing. He is saying, Adveshta Sarvabhutana Maitra Karunevache, the one who is completely, when he sees everybody as a Maitri, as a friend, Mitra. Nirmamo Nirahankaraha Sama Dukkha Sukha Kshami, the one who is Nirmama, the Mamata is not there, Ahankara is not there. He is Sama in Sukha Dukkha, and he is forgiving, Kshami. Santushta Satatam Yogi, the one who is always joyful. Yatatma Dridhanishchayah, and firm in his resolve. Mayarpita Mano Buddhihi, he has offered his Manaha and Buddhihi to me. Maya Arpita Mano Buddhihi. Yo Madbhaktas, Yaha Madbhaktaha Same Priyaha. Such Bhakta I like, is dear to me. Such a Bhakta is dear to me. Dear to me means what? He becomes a patra of my grace. He becomes a recipient of my grace. Sa Bhakta Same Priyaha. So, Samadukha Sukha Kshami. So, one who is having Nirmama, Nirahankara, no Mamata, no Ahankara, is Sama in terms of Sukha and Dukha, who's forgiving to others, who's Santushta Satatam, always joyful. In Dridhanishchaya and Sankalpa, he makes a resolution, keeps up to the resolution, and offers his mind and buddhi to me. Mayar Pita Mano Buddhi. Yo Mad Bhakta Same Priya. So such a person is dear to me. Then he goes on to say, Yasman no dvijate lokaha, lokan no dvijate chayah, harsha amarsha, bhayod vegaihi, mukto yasachame priyaha. So he's saying, one who does not cause annoyance to others, he does not agitate others. Yasman no dvijate lokaha, udvijate lokaha, does not agitate others. Udvijate lokaha, lokanno lokanah udvijate chayah, the one who does not get agitated by other people. Harsha amarsha, in pleasure and in pain, and who does not have bhayah or udvegaha, which means he doesn't have fear or anxiety, who's free from this. Such a one is dear to me. The one who does not agitate, goes and annoys other people, and one who does not get annoyed by others, the one who remains between harsha and amarsha, which means in joy, in pleasure and in pain, without bhaya and udvegaha, without fear and anxiety. Bhayodvegaihi muktaha. Yaha sacha me priyaha. Such a one is Such a me priya, such a one is. English li apdiye varudhu par. Such a me priya, such a one is desired by me, loved by me. Gayatri is asking, isn't it like this? Only when he graces us, we can reach that level of taking sukha dukkha equally. Yes. So it is a cyclical process, which is why it is like a, how do you say this? It's actually, with every cycle you go up. It's like an what is that called? Elliptical. How does a screw? How does a screw work? Screw goes around and around, but actually it's not just going around. It's actually going up also.
Spiral.
Spiral. Yeah, spiral. Correct. So that is the way in which we keep doing it. We get a little grace. We do effort. We do abhyasa, and then we get open to a little more grace. We put even more nishchaya. We put a little more determination, little more sankalpa, little more effort. Again, we go up a little more. Open a little more, grace opens up, little more, little more. That's how it is. It goes in that cyclical fashion, but not actually in the same place. Remember this, whenever we are doing any type of sadhana, any type of kainkaryam, you are not moving in the same place. Yesterday also I did, today also I am doing, day after also I did, 20 years I am doing. Don't evaluate yourself in terms of time. You will notice that quality of what you do is also improving. So it is like a spiral that is going up. It seems like you're going around, but it's actually, you're also going up. There is an incremental increase in the direction towards the goal.
Even solar system, the sun could have the sun, the solar system, the sun also moves. The whole planet system, it is just moving in a spiral direction for the total now.
Correct, true, because the whole thing is moving.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even though it is moving around, it's moving, it's also moving, it is dislocating itself in space. So the whole solar system is kind of also shifting, and which is how the whole universe is expanding. Correct. So yes, Mami, Avan Arulal, Avan Tal Vanangi, correct. So his grace, you need to also bow down to him, which is true. But koncham grace kadakerda, you are able to bow down today. Understand that, oh, I've been given this grace. Then let me put some sankalpa. Let me put some effort. Let me do some abhyasa. Right? So this is how it goes. Yasmanno dvijate lokaha, lokanno dvijate chayah. Harsha marsha bhayod begaihi mukto yasacha me priya. The one who does not keep bothering others and doesn't get bothered by others, such a one is loved by me. 16th verse. Anapeksha shuchir daksha udasino gatavyatah sarvarambha parityagi yo mad bhakta same priyah. The one who is indifferent to worldly gains, anapeksha, indifferent to whatever he gets. Udasina gatavyatah. Udasina, it doesn't have, he's udasina means, udasinama irukradun solvar. Tamil kuda use this word. Udasina means not giving it much care. Sarvarambha parityagi, one who gives up all kinds of anything that he takes on. Sarva arambha, which means whatever he takes on himself, he also gives it up. Parityagi, yo mad bhakta same priyaha. Such a one is pleasing to me. Then, yo na hrishyati na dveshti na shochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhaktimanya same priyaha. Yo na hrishyati, one who does not jump with joy when there is something good happening. Na dveshti na shochati, then does not despair when something goes wrong. Na kankshati, that does not hanker for something. Shubha Ashubha Parityagi, the one who gives up Shubha and Ashubha. Bhaktima Anya. Bhaktiman. Bhaktiman Yaha Samay Priyaha. Such a one who is a Bhaktiman, who remains in my devotion. He is desirable one to me. He becomes a recipient of my grace. यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति. Sorry. I thought I'll take a little pepper to soothe my throat. The pepper is now causing me to cough. Sometimes what we think is a solution is also the problem itself. So one who does not rejoice, see, the point here is doesn't mean that you don't rejoice. When there is joy, you be joyful. When there is sadness, you can't suddenly you go to a death place, you're going to somebody who's some relative close death, and then you stand there and you don't show a little bit emotion also. It feels very awkward, right? There you can't, I mean, they are not ready. No, you can't go and tell them things like, what is that? What is that shloka, Mama? न शोषयति मारुतः न च क्लेदयन्तयापः न शोषय, or the second chapter shloka. Okay, when it comes, it will come. So the shloka says that you are not, the Atma is not born, it's not, you can't wet it, you cannot burn it, you cannot cut it, you cannot dry it. So you can't, if you're the person who's not ready to hear that, not in a place to listen to it, and you've got the dead body there, and suddenly you can't stand there and start giving Vedanta and say that, you should not be sad and all that. As I've always said, if you have to explain, you have to display that, display a little bit of sadness there, right? If you have to display a little bit of sadness, go ahead and do that. It's okay, because in a social situation you have to always also be understanding. See, this is what it means by being understanding. Karuna eva cha. See, if you look at the previous shloka, the 13th shloka, he says what? Maitraha karuna eva cha. Sarvabhuta adveshta sarvabhutana maitraha karuna eva cha. How do you show karuna? This is how you show karuna. Karuna, this is how you show. Mama, you got the shloka?
Nainam chindanti
Nainam
shastra.
chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. Na kleda,
Naina chainam
na chainam
vedayantapah.
tyantapah, na shoshayati marutaha. Very good, thank you. The first word was not okay. So, Anvertal, if you go stand there and you say this, if the person is receiving,
ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಸುಲಭ ಗುರುಜಿ.
chalo.
ನೈನಂ ಚಿಂತಂತಿ ಶಸ್ತ್ರಾಣಿ ನೈನಂ ದಹತಿ ಪಾವಕಃ ನ ಚೈನಂ ಕ್ಲೇದಯಂತ್ಯಾಪಃ ನ ಶೋಷಯತಿ ಮಾರುತಃ.
Very good. So,
third shloka.
there, yeah. So if
Second
you
chapter.
stand there and you do this, if that the group of people there are not receiving to this, then you are not being karuna. There is no compassion. So when he's saying na hrishyati, na shoshayati, na hrishyati, na dveshti, when he's saying this, don't rejoice and don't go into despair. Also have compassion and karuna towards others. Internally, don't get disturbed. Internally, see, all of these things are, remember, mentioned from an internal standpoint. How do you keep yourself within you? It is not about the display that you do. Display, you can do whatever is appropriate for that time, that place, that situation, whatever is required, you display that. But within you, what it is, how is it, how are you? This is what is important. So when you're saying that don't rejoice and all of that, you're feeling joyful, show joy, no? Somebody, a small child is born, you're going to their house and you're going to keep a stiff face like that. I don't have any emotion. It will feel very awkward. Right? When people are joyful, when you're being part of that social context, show some joy. Be part of that, so that they'll feel they're partaking of their joy. When somebody is suffering and going through a loss, a bereavement, be part of that. That is why karuna, that is important. We should never let go of karuna. Karuna is you do what you are, have your sankalpa, have your dridha nischaya, follow your abhyasa, yoga, all of that, follow that within you. When it comes to the other, show karuna. There, don't stand like, rigid rock. I am like this. I have no. Bhagavan Krishna has told, Samadukha Sukha Kshami. I will not have any Sukha Dukha, nothing. Right? If somebody comes and says that, how are you able to manage? Then you tell them this. How do you take this? How do you suffer from? How do you not go through so much of suffering when this kind of a calamity has happened? And how are you able to take when you're getting such accolades and such this thing? How are you able to take this? How are you able to keep this balance? Somebody looks at you, looks at the way you're living, comes and asks, then you say this. Don't go freely just using this to show off. It's very important. But these things are to be understood in the right way for our own chitta shuddhi, swaya sankalpa. Okay, so that's the 17th verse. 18th verse, he says, Samashatrau cha mitre cha tatha mana apamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samasanga vivarjitah. So same thing, manam, apamanam, which means you're getting praised, you're getting insulted. Shatru, mitra, amongst all of that, remain shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samaha sanga vivarjitah. Keep equidistance from everything, all of this. You're getting great glories, you're being glorified, keep some distance. You're being insulted, keep some distance. There are people who look at you as an enemy, keep some distance. Somebody looks at you as a friend, keep some distance. Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukha, in all of this, keep a little distance. Tulya, Ninda, Stutir Moni, Santushto, Yena Kenachit. By whatever way he is santushta, he is happy. And how? Ninda stuti mauni, which means he looks at praise and insult alike and is mauni. He's taking to inner contemplation, silence. Aniketaha, which means one who is not attached to the place where he is. Aniketaha sthitaha sthiramatihi. Aniketaha, not attached to the place where he is. Sthiramatihi, samabuddhihi, bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Such bhaktiman me priyo naraha is very dear to me. Such a person is very dear to me. And the last verse he says in this chapter, Yetu dharmyamritamidam yathoktam paryupasate shraddadhana matparamaha bhaktastetiva ativa me priyaha. So one who has this knowledge, this nectar of understanding, dharmya amritam idam yathoktam, whatever has been said, has with devotion, pari upasate, who does upasana with exclusive devotion, shraddha dhana, with faith, mat paramaha, with me as the the primordial goal, bhaktaha te ativa me priyaha. Such bhaktaha are ativa me priyaha, are very, very dear to me. Right? So in this chapter, what is our last few verses, 13 up until 20, He is saying, how do you keep yourself within yourself so that you become recipient to my grace? And we will see, oh, Guruji, we are not able to be like that. It's easy to speak. When I get angry, I have to show anger. When I do this, I have to do that. All of that is fine. You're human beings. We are all human beings. We have emotions, and that is the one thing that differentiates us from animals also. Understand this. We don't have to become rocks. Bhagavan is telling, not telling, don't become a rock. But he's saying, don't fall for extremities. Don't fall for extremities. You feel something, feel it. It's okay, but don't go into it. Right? A lot of times these things also happen, even in devotion. For example, if you're doing dhyana, some kind of practice you've taken 21 days, you feel absolutely blissful. Suddenly this new kriya has given you great joy. You're feeling great throughout the day, this, that, other. And then 3 months later, all drained, all gone. Suddenly you think back, appo eppadi irundhathu theriyuma? Where did that all go away? It was so beautiful, so blissful. Then mind will again go down. And then when you try to do the same kriya, it will not give you the same joy. If it's not giving you the same joy, you'll wonder what's happening. Then you will not have trust in that kriya or that prakriya that you're doing, that kainkaryam that you're doing. It will not give you the same joy. Because situations change. You've changed. The inner space has changed. There is your karma also that is working on you. Your karma phala that has come from the past is working on you. People around you are working on you. Situations are working on you. So understand this. You are subject to so many factors from the outside. But what he's saying is santushta. You decide that I want to be santushta. See, if you look at this verse, he's saying, Mauni santushta yena kenachit. You do whatever and you be santushta. Enamo panni santoshamaire. That is important. Santoshama irukka mudiyala appadina you have already decided. Either we will say, you know, so much difficulty, I'm not able to be happy. And then you push that person a little bit. No, you try. You look for the bigger things, the better things, the beautiful things that have happened, and try to make yourself feel better. And then the person will retort back saying that, how do you think in this situation you can be happy? So you will never get anywhere. That conversation will not go anywhere because this person has already made up his mind that you cannot be happy in this situation. If you've made up your mind that you cannot be happy in a certain situation, only in certain situations you'll be able to be happy or joyful, then you've already created constraints. You've already created situations for you to not be sama sukha dukkha. Sama and sukha and dukkha. You've already given up the hope that you can be. First thing is to believe in these words. Yes, it is possible. One, Krishna is no fool to have said this. Two, 5,000 years later, we are still reading it, which means there have been so many masters who have translated, commented upon this, given commentaries, given bhashya, explained these things and said that this is possible, this is possible, this is possible, this is possible. So many people have reiterated this message. They are not fools. So we should use our intellect in this way. We should use our viveka in this way. This is where we should bring the viveka element to say that, yes, there is some truth here. So let me take the truth. Okay, now there are like so many people, so much has been said. And then there have been, I even see people who have read the Bhagavad Gita, followed the Bhagavad Gita, and have lived the life so beautifully. I see such people, even if there are difficulties. They have had situations. I am talking about Jnaneshwara, Nivrityanandanatha. Such examples we see. We see all of this and we know that, yes, there are people who have lived like this, who've gone through terrible times, but yet have lived what Bhagavad Gita is talking about. And if yes, then I take that. And I say, yes, this is the truth. I can be. The moment I make that resolution, then next step is how to make it happen. That is all. Drida Nishchaya Pandradha Mukyam. First thing is to determine for yourself that this is, yes, I am going to be Ena Kena Chit. Whatever happens, Santushtaha Mauni. I am going to be contemplating on the inner self and I am going to be happy. I'll contemplate. I will always learn to turn my attention inwards and bring my attention inwards and stay in that calm, joyful, and feel joyful. Then the question is, how do I do it? And then that how, when that how starts becoming like a fire, then Guru comes in various forms. You will see messages and instructions and teachings and all of that will come in different forms. But this, we have to make this Dhrida Nishchaya. So that is the Bhakti Yoga. So this particular chapter on Bhakti Yoga is essentially driving us to become a Bhakta. Bhakta means without a choice. Be a devotee without choice. Remember, think that I don't have a choice. The only choice, Sharanagati, is the only choice. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami. Ma shuchaha. Bhagavad Gita, he says, 18th chapter, he'll say. So, tell ourselves that this is the only way. Nanyaf pantha ayanaya vidyate. There is no other way out. So with that, the 12th chapter comes to close. He says, Om Tatsat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Bhakti Yogo Nama Dvadashodhyayah. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Svabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambiketi Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami. Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Bhagavan give us that strength for Sankalpa, Dhrida Nishchaya, determination, and be recipient of His grace. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Sir,
Hari Om.